Welcome to Cafe Thursday, where today we're going to be making red beans with salchichon or sausage, and I'm also going to give you my homemade sofrito recipe. Now, this is something that my grandmother used to make that we absolutely loved to make on any day. So we're going to start off by taking about a quarter of this entire roll, because this is 2 pounds. There's absolutely no way we need that much. We're just going to take a quarter of that off, and we are going to slice this into 1/4 inch or less slices. Now, you'll notice that this salami is a lot lighter, and the reason being that it is made with mostly chicken. So it's a lot less fat, a lot less grease, and a little healthier for you. And you still get that real good, I love salami, but that real good sausage salami taste. And the reason I keep saying that is because here they are all called salamis, but back in the States we used to refer this as sausage, but it really does taste more like a salami. So we're going to take each one of those slices and we're going to cut them into quarter-sized pieces like this. Okay, so once we have this all quartered, we're going to move on. But while we're quartering this, we're going to make sure that our frying pan is on low heat and it's getting nice and hot for us. So now that we're ready, we're going to put those salami pieces flat side down into the pan. You want to make sure that they are all laid flat because you want to get an even brownness on both sides. This is a poultry item, so you do want to make sure that you are cooking them thoroughly and you're not putting them uncooked or undone into the beans, because when we make the beans, it's really not going to be that long of a process in the bean because we are using canned, meaning pre-cooked red beans. So we're going to lay those down, and the flavor that comes out in that oil is amazing. I know I like to make a little fried cheese in that leftover oil, and as a lot of Dominicans and you guys that have had breakfast out here, you know they use it for mango. So we're going to let that cook for maybe about 3 to 5 minutes on the first side. It should look like this when you're ready to flip it over, and then it should be another additional 3 to 4 minutes. Get that nice brown crispness on there. Look at that. Those look great, but let me tell you, smell-o-vision, they smell delicious. This kitchen is already beginning to get that beautiful salami aroma. There you go. So it needs to cook for just a few more minutes. Now that they're done, you're going to turn that heat off, and we want to take them off and let them soak or drain onto the paper towel. We are, though, going to keep about a tablespoon of that salami goodness, I'm going to call it, but it is the oil from the meat, because we're going to add that into our beans later. So we're going to set the pan aside because we don't want to toss out what we may need for the later on in the recipe. So we're just going to put those on there, and we're going to let them drain because we don't want too much grease. We just want the little bit that we're going to add into the bean. Now we're going to move on to our additional ingredients that we need for the beans. And I'm going to list here the sofrito recipe if you want to make your own homemade sofrito. But I do have a 1/2 cup of my homemade sofrito that I make for my beans. We're going to use 1 can of the red beans, habichuela rojo. We're going to use a 1/2 of a can of tomato sauce. And we're going to use an entire packet of sazon Goya with achote and culantro. Make sure you get the one with culantro and achote. We're going to add all those ingredients plus that can of bean. When you dump it out, you're going to fill it up with water and put an additional 1 can of water in there. And like I said prior, when we made the sausage, we're going to take 1 tablespoon of that grease and we're going to add it in there. We're going to cook this all on simmer, so low heat, for 20 minutes covered. Now you want to make sure that you're stirring it often. You don't want it to stick or to burn at the bottom. And you're going to add a little extra water into the halfway cooking process. So add it in there because you want to make sure you have enough broth. It needs to have a nice brothiness to it so that you have that to put over rice, or it's some people they eat it over with bread. So you want to make sure you're checking that consistency when you're stirring it, and don't be afraid if you have to add a little bit more water through the process. And we're going to continue cooking that for another 8 to 10 minutes, covered again. And what we're going to see when we're done is a beautiful bean and sausage. There it is, served with some chicken, a salad, and a nice glass of wine. So thanks for coming to another Cafe Thursday. Make sure to hit subscribe, hit the notifications bell. Always give this and all videos a thumbs up. And all information will be under the video. Thanks.